Okay, so we will answer uh, multiple choice questions, no? Ito ay accounts receivable, okay? Especially this subject actually is the subject that I'm teaching now for undergraduate, okay? So kumbaga, I'm refreshing myself, okay? So nire-refresh ko yung sarili ko. So please share it with your friends, okay? For your someone that is an undergraduate, okay? Kung ikaw ay CPA aspirants or you are doing a self-review, okay? Kasi mahirap mag-aral kung mag-isa lang, 'di ba? So, ngayon, it's good na andito ka, okay? Andito ka kasama kita for this session. So, ito is accounts receivable, multiple choice question. So, what I'm going to teach is papaano ba mag-answer ng accounts receivable. Okay? So, siguro theories muna tayo and then maybe 10 problems. Okay? So, board. Ang ginagamit natin is multiple choice, no? Yan yung ating yan naman talaga lahat. So ibig sabihin, kaya-kaya mong mag-answer. Sabi nga nila, kaya mong i-answer yan kahit nakapikit ka. Okay? But we will see, no, kung kaya natin siyang sagutan. Okay? So let's have a very very short review lang. Okay, na mga gagawin natin. Okay. So, measurement ng accounts receivable. So, papaano mag-answer ng theories? Kailangan, no, intindihin ang tanong. So, ang tanong dito, all of the following are problems associated with measurement of accounts receivable except. So, ibig sabihin, okay, how you answer multiple choice theories, no? Ang kailangan mong gawin is you need to understand kung ano yung tanong. Okay? And dapat huwag magkamali. Sinabi all. So, ibig sabihin all the choices daw. You need to understand it in your own language. Kung pwede mo nga siyang i-translate in Tagalog, okay? Kung ikaw ay Filipino, of course, no? Pwede mo siyang Tagalogin para mas maintindihan mo. So, in a negative ang question. So, except, okay, alin dyan ang hindi associated sa measurement of accounts receivable. Returns, okay, kasama yan, di ba? Kasi merong impact yan, merong sales returns and allowances. Okay, lalo na kung ang sales mo is on account. Okay, allowances. Okay, so syempre meron tayong tinatawag na allowance for doubtful accounts, allowance for returns. Okay, so kasama yan. Uncollectible accounts, which is your doubtful accounts. So, yung tatlong yan, of course, they are associated. So, alam na natin agad kung alin dyan ang hindi associated. Di ba? So, madali lang ang question. So, cash discounts under the net method. Ito is purchases. Okay? So, ito ang sagot, dog. Okay? Number 2. Okay? Accounts receivable shall be recognized initially. Okay? Kailan mo i-recognize? Okay? So, paano mo siya i-recognize initially? Okay? At current value ba? No. Discounted value ba? No. At face value. Okay? Yan yung sagot natin dyan. So, letter C. Okay? Madali lang naman to. Okay? From the definition itself of the accounts receivable. So, number 3. If the ideal measure of short-term receivables in the statement of financial position, or meaning in the balance sheet, is the discounted amount of cash to be received in the future, okay, failure to follow this practice usually does not make the statement of financial position misleading. Okay? Why? Okay? Okay, nandito na agad ang sagot. The amount of discount is not material. Okay, usually pagka accounts receivable kasi, lalo na short term yan, immaterial ang discount dyan. Okay? So, ang magiging sagot dito is A kagad. Alam kagad natin yan. No? Now, next, presentation and disclosure. Punta tayo dito. Which of the following should be recorded in accounts receivable? So, alin dyan sa mga choices na yan ang kasama sa accounts receivable? Okay, of course, kitang-kita agad natin, malinaw na malinaw. Okay, sales on account. Okay, di ba kasi dalawa lang naman yung possibility na yan. Sales on account or cash sales or credit sales. So ang sagot natin dyan, letter dog. Okay, next. Number 5. Trade receivables are classified as current assets if they are reasonably expected to be collected. Alam naman natin yan from the definition, within 1 year or within the operating cycle, whichever is longer. Okay? So tatandaan, nasa definition naman natin yan. So alam natin yan. Where the operating cycle extends beyond 1 year. Okay? Beyond 1 year daw because of normal credit terms. For example, in installment sales, no? Okay, usually yung mga high value items nag-extend kasi nga babayaran for installment. Okay, or nagborrow ng pera from the bank or nagbigay on credit. No, so the receivables are not recognized. The entire receivables are shown as non-current assets. The portion due in 1 year is shown as current and the balance as non-current. Of course not. Ito is, it is properly to classify the entire receivables as current assets with disclosure of the amount not realizable within 1 year. Okay, dapat yan yun. Letter D. Okay. 16. 7. Non-trade receivables are classified as current assets only if they are reasonably expected to be realized in cash. Okay, in cash within 1 year, the length of the operating cycle notwithstanding. Okay, so ibig sabihin dapat within 1 year siya to be classified as current assets. Hindi na siya pwedeng hindi mo na pwedeng tingnan yung operating cycle or kanina 'di ba yung definition natin ng accounts receivable is whichever is longer. Okay, but this time the length of the operating cycle notwithstanding. Okay? That is letter boy. Number 8. Which of the following statements is true? Okay, alin daw dyan naman ang true? Okay, so positive naman ngayon. Okay, yung question. Which of the following statements is true in relation to presentation of receivables in the statement of financial position? Alin naman dyan ang may katotohanan? A. Non-trade receivables are presented as non-current assets. Okay. B. Trade receivables. Okay, di ba? Ang non-trade, alam na natin pwedeng current asset as current asset siya within 1 year, notwithstanding the length of operating cycle. Now, letter B. Trade receivables and non-trade receivables are shown separately. Shown separately ba? No. Okay. Trade accounts receivable and trade notes receivable shall be presented separately din ba? No. D is the answer then. Trade receivables and non-trade receivables which are currently collectible shall be presented as one line item called trade and other receivables. Okay, so dapat ganun yung presentation mo niyan. Okay? Number 9, long-term notes receivable which nominally bear no interest or an interest which is unreasonably low shall be recognized initially at okay, kung or an interest unreasonably low, kung long-term notes yan, so then we use present value. No, sorry. Not present value. Yes, it's present value, right? Kasi nga, long-term notes receivable. Okay, so at present value. Okay. Number 10. In the case of long-term installments receivable, okay, in this one, they mention real estate installment sales, where a major portion of the receivables will be collected beyond the normal operating cycle. Okay, beyond daw. So, papaano natin siya ipipresent? So, ang tamang sagot dyan, B. Okay, only the portion currently due is shown as current and the balance as non-current. Kasi dito sinample na rin niya real estate. Okay, so it will be for, like for example, no, yung amortization is for 15 years, 10 years. So, matagal talaga siya. So, that will be, the balance will be on a non-current. Okay? Number 11, credit balances. Okay. Ito, marami dito nagkakamali. Credit balances in accounts receivable shall be classified as. Okay, anong classification ang gagawin mo dyan? Okay? So, of course, pagka may credit balance, hindi na yan accounts receivable. That will be current liabilities na. Okay? Next, number 12, receivables from subsidiaries shall be classified as, okay, so ito naman is from your subsidiaries, no? Dito is, kailangan mong tingnan, is it either as current or non-current? Okay, so depending on the expectation of realizing them within 1 year or over 1 year. Okay, so yan yon. Number 13, all of the following are required when classifying receivables except, okay, so all of the following are required daw except, alin dyan ang nasa negative na naman tayo ngayon. Okay, so disclose any receivable pledge as collateral. Yes, we do that, right? Indicate receivables classified as current and non-current. Yes, we do that as well. Disclose all significant concentration of credit risk. So all of these are required actually. So the answer is dog. Okay, 14. Punta tayo sa bad debts. Which of the following statements is incorrect regarding how the impairment assessment of accounts receivable is to be performed? Okay, so kailangan natin ng bad debts ngayon. Okay, alin daw yung incorrect? A, any accounts receivable not individually assessed should be collectively assessed for impairment. Actually, you do it individually, di ba? Para malaman mo kung makukolekta pa o hindi or impaired na yung accounts mo. B, not individually significant accounts receivable should be assessed individually, and if impaired, the impairment loss is recognized. Okay? Actually, this is the correct answer. Boy. Okay? Kung actually usually kasi kung hindi rin yan significant, no? And kailangan mo kasi laging malaman kung impaired na yung accounts receivable mo. Okay? Kailangan merong assessment na nagagawin. And from that, you will understand what will be your impairment loss to be recognized. So the answer is boy. Okay? Next. 15. Okay, so direct write-off method. Direct write-off method. Which of the following is not permitted? Okay, so negative tayo ngayon. In accounting for uncollectible accounts receivable. Okay, so alin ba dyan yung hindi permitted? Alam na kagad natin, no? In the International Financial Reporting Standards, which is Philippines is kind of like following, no, with the Philippine Financial Reporting Standards. So, ang tamang sagot dyan is A, direct write-off method. Kasi this is used for tax purposes. It violates the matching principle. Okay? 16. Which of the following method of determining budget expense does not match expense and revenue? So, nasabi ko na, no? Sinabi ko na direct write-off. So, ngayon, ang magiging answer mo dyan, yung nag-charge agad sa budgets as accounts are written off as uncollectible. Okay, so letter A din yung sagot dyan. 17. Which of the following is not acceptable in estimating uncollectible accounts receivable? Okay, the estimate of uncollectible accounts is based on aging schedule. So this is accepted, di ba? Kasi aging of accounts receivable. Ito namang isa, estimate of uncollectible accounts based on percentage of sales for the period. Ito is acceptable income statement approach. Itong aging, balance sheet approach. C, the estimate of uncollectible accounts is based of the accounts receivable at the end of the period. So, based on accounts receivable na naman. So, balance sheet approach. So, kung yung tatlo na yan is acceptable, then the answer here will be letter dog. So no estimate of uncollectible accounts is made, but accounts are written off. So this is the direct write-off method. No? So that is letter dog. Now, konting explanation lang. Pagka nagka-calculate ng aging, ang makukuha mo, that will be your ending allowance for doubtful accounts. Okay? Right. Now, pagka naman, percentage of sales, so that will be your budget's expense. 'Di ba? Ganun 'yon. Okay. Then, pag accounts receivable, naman percentage, yun din yung magiging ending mo allowance for doubtful accounts. Then, kung merong nakarecord na debit or credit yan, you need to make an adjustment. Okay? Next. 18. When the direct write-off method of recognizing budget expense is used, the entity to write off a specific customer account would. Ano mangyayari? Of course, decrease yung net income kasi merong budget expense. Then, decrease din yung accounts receivable mo. So, ang answer natin dyan is letter dog. Okay? So, 20 items lang tayo dito sa multiple choice. Okay, next. Allowance method. Which method of recording budget loss is consistent with accrual accounting? Of course, it is allowance method. Okay, yan naman talaga din ang ginagamit for in practice. Which accounting principle primarily supports the use of allowance for doubtful accounts? Okay, matching principle. Okay, from the term itself. Okay, so yan yung sinagutan natin for 24 multiple choice questions. Now, few problems lang ang sasagutan natin. I think 1 to 10 or 1 to 5 could be okay. Okay, kasi ang importante lang naman usually is ang tinatanong ng accounts receivable and then yung allowance for doubtful accounts calculation. So, we'll take a look kung alin yung ating sasagutan. Okay? Now, let's go on. Question number 1. Accounts receivable. Roxy, okay, check muna natin, di ba? Pagka nag-answer tayo ng problems, kailangan nating tingnan ang question. What is the balance of accounts receivable before allowance for doubtful accounts? Okay, so hindi mo i-consider yung doubtful accounts mo. Okay, so ano yung i-consider mo lang? Okay, lahat lang for accounts receivable. Kung gagawa ka ng T-account, di ba? So, gawa ka ng T-account. Accounts receivable, January 1. So, kasama yan, di ba? So, that is 1,300. Okay, pasensya na. Pangit magsulat. Okay, then credit sales. So, kasama to. Credit sales, 5,400,000. Okay, so, 5,400,000. Okay, parang bata. Bata lang. Okay, 5,400,000. And then collections. Excluding recovery, so wala naman, hindi natin siya isasama. So less 4,750 kasi nakolekta na, 'di ba? So 4,750, yan yung makaka-apekto din. And then ano pa, accounts written off, hindi naman 'to nakaka-apekto sa allowance for doubtful accounts yan. And tanong dito, before allowance for doubtful accounts, 'di ba? Wait. Sorry, yung accounts written off is nakaka-apekto yan. What I mean is yung collections of accounts written off. Ito is makaka-apekto sa allowance for doubtful accounts, pero yung accounts written off is ibabawas mo yan sa accounts receivable mo. So, yun yung 125. Okay, ibabawas mo yan. Kasi kung ni-written off na siya. Okay? Then, estimated uncollectible receivables, hindi mo siya gagamitin kasi before allowance for doubtful accounts. So, ngayon, add mo lang, okay, so may calculator ako dito sa hawak ko. So, 1,300,000 plus 5,400,000 less 4,750,000 less 125. So, that is 1,825 dapat ang makukuha nating sagot. Okay, 1,825. Tama ba? So, yan yon. Letter A. Okay, so nasa choices siya. Okay, wag malito ha dito sa tanong. Before allowance for doubtful accounts. Okay, next, number 2. Again, puntahan muna natin ang question. Okay, what amount should be reported as trade accounts receivable December 31, 2020? Okay, dito is kailangan nating malaman yung kasama at hindi kasama ulit. Okay? So, accounts, so i-highlight ko yung hindi kasama. Okay, accounts known to be worthless, hindi to kasama. Advance payments to creditors on purchase orders, hindi rin yan kasama. Okay? Advances to affiliated companies, hindi rin yan kasama. Customers reporting credit balances arising from sales return, hindi rin yan kasama. Okay? Current liabilities na yan. Interest received on bonds, hindi rin yan kasama. Trade accounts receivable unassigned. Okay, magpalit na tayo. Kasama to. Okay. Subscription receivable, hindi rin to kasama. Okay, palit ulit tayo. Trade accounts receivable assigned. Assigned daw siya. Okay. Pero, okay, company's equity and assigned accounts is 500,000. Okay? Pero yan is assigned, pero sa company pa rin yan. So, kasama yan, mga kapatid. Okay? So, yan yung 1,500,000. Kasama yan. Next, trade installments receivable due 1 to 18 months. Okay? Including unearned finance charge na 50. Kasama to, pero kailangan mong i-less yung finance charges na 50. Okay, so ang isasama mo lang dyan is 800. Okay, 800. Okay, next. Trade accounts receivable from officers due currently. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, ito is from officers. Okay, kasama yan. Okay, receivable mo yan. Trade accounts receivable on which post-dated checks are held. So, customers to. So, ibig sabihin, kasama to. Okay, so let's put it on our calculator. Okay, so 2 million. Okay, nagka-calculate ako ha. Dapat meron din kayong calculator na hawak. Ang gamit kong calculator is very basic lang. Okay, eto lang. Very basic. Okay. Walang minus plus. Ayan lang, may M plus M minus. Okay, kung masusundan mo kung paano natin ginagawa yung M plus M minus, alam mo mangyayari, ang bilis. Kasi, how many minutes lang? Almost 1 minute kaya nating i-calculate yan. Okay, so ipakita ko sa iyo kung paano ko gagawin. Okay? So, sinabi natin trade accounts receivable unannounced, 2 million. M plus ka lang. Pagkatapos, meron kang company's equity assigned accounts, 1,500,000. M plus ka lang ulit. Then, yung kanina sinabi natin 850, di ba? Less mo yung 50. Okay, so M plus ka lang ulit. Trade accounts receivable due currently 150, M plus ka lang ulit. Pagkatapos 200, M plus ka lang ulit. Ano nakuha ko? 4,650. Ngayon, i-check natin kung meron 4,650 dun sa choices. Let me share my screen again. So, ayan, 4,650 yung nakuha ko. Okay, so kung marunong kang gumamit ng calculator na mabilis, kayang-kaya mo yan, mga kapatid. Okay? Now, let me share with you. Check natin kung tama. Okay. Kasi nagkuha na tayo, di ba? Na-calculate na natin. Very basic yung calculator. Okay. Ito siya. Okay. So, 4,650 yung nakuha kong answer, di ba? So, let's see. Meron ba nasa choices? Yes, it's here, mga kapatid. C. Okay, so 4,650. Madali, mahirap. Next. Eto. Question number 3. Actually, ito is, pwede ka ditong mag-T account. Okay? Pagka ganito minsan yung mga estudyante, takot na sa question. Okay? Kasi parang ang hirap, di ba? Lalo na pagka may table na ganyan. Diyos ko, Lord. Okay? Parang ayaw mo nang isolve. Pero unahin mo muna yung question. What is the net realizable value of accounts receivable December 31, 2020? Ngayon, unahin mo, pagka nag-calculate ka, unahin mo lagi yung accounts receivable muna. Kasi di ba ang net realizable value is accounts receivable less doubtful accounts, 'di ba? So, makukuha mo ang AR mo. So, ngayon, halimbawa, tingnan mo kung ano yung available data. Okay? Hanapan mo na kagad yung accounts receivable. Okay, so may beginning balance ka dito, 1,200,000, 'di ba? Hindi talaga ako masyadong magaling dito. Siguro may problema na yung mouse ko. Mahina na yung battery. 1,200,000 and then ano ba yung makakaapekto? Sales, 'di ba? So meron ka ditong 8 million. Okay, so ilagay mo na yung 8 million. Okay, 8 million. Pasensya na ha, ang pangit sumulat. Pero okay lang yan. 8 million, di ba? Now, cash collected, 7 million. So, ibabawas mo yung 7 million. Okay, 7 million. Then, read the problem ulit. Sabi din, dyan, the cash collections included the recovery of 10. Okay, naka-recover kasi ng 10 actually. Ito pala, mali tayo dito. Yung instead na 7 million, dapat i-minus mo yung 10 kasi na-recover niya yon. So, isama ko na lang dito, less 10. Okay? Then, sabi dito, during 2020, it was necessary to recognize doubtful accounts expense. Okay, sa expense yan, sa allowance natin yan mamaya gagamitin. Write-off worthless customers accounts of 30,000. So, nagkaroon ng write-off. Okay, so less mo yung 30 rin dyan. Okay? Then, on December 1, 2020, a customer settled an account by 12% 6-month note. Okay, so ito is hindi na accounts receivable to. Notes receivable yan. Eh, ang tanong accounts receivable, o sige, tanggalin mo rin yung 400. Okay, pasensya na, ang pangit ng sulat. Pero, ang mahalaga dyan, naiintindihan mo yan. Okay? So, ngayon, yan yung accounts receivable mo na walang adjustment na allowance for doubtful accounts. So, calculator ka ulit. Okay? So, 1,200,000 plus 8 million less 7 million. Okay, ginagamit ko yung calculator ko ha. Less 10. Okay, then less 30, less yung settlement ng note 400. Ang makukuha mo dito is 1,760. Okay, hindi pa yun yung sagot. Kasi ang kailangan mong gawin is net realizable value, di ba? So kung net realizable value yan, ang kailangan mong gawin ngayon is kunin ang allowance mo from the beginning of the year. Ito pala siya. Okay, gawin ko dito. Allowance for doubtful accounts, meron palang binigay. Ito siya, 60. Okay, so may 60 ka dito. Ano yung mga nakakaapekto? Kanina, di ba? 60. Sorry, ang pangit. Okay, 60. Okay, and then recovery, 10. Okay, so 60 plus 10. Ganun na lang gawin mo. Doubtful accounts expense, eto 100, sinabi dito. Okay, 60, 100 plus 10. And then, ano pang ginawa niya dyan actually? Okay, ending balance, December 31. Meron bang ending balance? December 31. Okay, allowance for doubtful accounts. Makakalculate mo na siya. Okay, meron bang binigay na allowance for doubtful accounts December 31? Has been written off. It was necessary. Doubtful accounts expense. Customer settled. Okay, so I think that's it, right? 60 plus 10 plus 100. Meron kang 170. Okay. And then, actually, merong kulang dito. No? Kasi dapat, ang tanong, what will be your net realizable value? Allowance for doubtful accounts ending. Meron ba tayong ending December 31? Okay. I think merong kulang na data. Oh, at least nakikita natin. Meron dapat allowance for doubtful accounts na ending. Kasi net realizable value ang makukuha natin dapat, 'di ba? 170 less eto pala, accounts worthless accounts 30. So less 30. Ang kinukuha ko pala is yung allowance for doubtful accounts end ng December 31 para makuha natin yung net realizable value. So less 30, 140. ang ending allowance for doubtful accounts mo. Kaya pala wala siya dito kasi ika-calculate mo. Okay. So, 140 ang nakuha natin. So, dito is less 140. Okay. So, ang magiging net realizable value ni accounts receivable is, so, dito is 20 less 7 less 1. So, 6. 1,620. Nasa choices ba? Bakit ganun? Wait. Tama ba tong calculation natin dito? 1,760? 1,760 o 1,780? Let me just double check again. 1,200, di ba? Less 1,200,000 plus 8 million less 7 million. Sorry. Yung accounts recovery dito will be plus. Ang ginawa ko, ima-minus mo pala siya dun sa 7. So, plus 10 less 30 plus 400 plus less 400. So dapat ito is 1,780 mga kapatid. 1,780 less 140, that is 1,640. Sorry naman. Okay, so 1,640. Hindi ko pala kinorekto. Kasi 'di ba sinabi ko nga may mali tayo kanina. So itong 10 dapat minus mo sa 7. Since hindi natin siya binawas, kaya inad ko siya, hindi dapat ni-less. Okay, doon ako nagkamali. So again, ulitin ko, 1,200,000 plus 8 million less 7 million plus 10 less 30 less 400. So ang makukuha mo is 1,780 and then kailangan mong kunin yung ending allowance for doubtful accounts. Meron kang 60 plus 10 yung recovery mo plus 100 doubtful accounts expense mo and then less written off worthless account 30, so 140. So 140 yung naging December ending allowance for doubtful accounts. So 1,780 less 1,480. Ang makukuha mo is 1,640. So letter B. Okay, pasensya na. On the spot kasi tayo nagsasagot. Okay? Next. Question number 4. Nagkakamali pa rin tayo kahit tayo yung nagtuturo. So that's okay. Para hindi scripted, okay? Kasi 'di ba yung iba nagla-live, naka-script na kung ano yung mga sasabihin. Dito tayo is natural lang, okay? So kasi nga I want to study together with you. Okay? So bond company provided the following data. Again, tingnan natin ano ang hinahanap. Ang haba na naman mga kapatid. Okay, kaya 5 problems lang tayo or okay, tingnan natin kung hanggang saan tayo aabutin. Okay, next. What is the balance of accounts receivable? Ganun na naman ang tanong. Okay, pahirapan na naman. Ang dami na naman. Pag ikaw ba nakakita ng ganito, ang dami nakalista, include, exclude ka lang. Okay? Mukha lang yan mahirap pero madali lang yan. Okay? Huwag niyong takutin yung sarili niyo. Okay? Kahit diretso na tayo. Okay, basahin natin mabuti. January 1, balance after deducting credit balance. Bakit ka nag-deduct ng credit balance? Hindi pwede yun. Hindi mo pwedeng i-offset. So, i-add back mo yan. 530 plus 30, that is 560. Okay? Then, charge sales. Okay? Kasama yan. Kaya yan charge. Pwede yan tawagin ding credit sales. Meaning yan yung sales on account. Okay? So, add mo yan. So, add ka. 5,250. Okay? Then, charge for goods out on consignment. Wala tayong pakialam dyan. Hindi ang kasama. Shareholder subscription. Yun sa subscription receivable. Wala rin tayong pakialam dyan. Accounts written off but recovered. O, yan kasama yan. Add back mo yan. Okay? Add back. Then, ano pa cash paid, hindi yan. Good ship, hindi rin yan. Deposit contract, hindi rin yan. Claim against common carrier, hindi rin yan, di ba? Sa inventory yan. Advances to supplier, hindi rin yan. Okay, madali lang nga. Collection from customers, okay, nakakolect. Pero, may sinabi, overpayment, wag malito. Anong gagawin mo? Ililes mo yan dyan. So, ibig sabihin, ang collections mo, mangyayari, 5,150. Di ba? Okay. Pag kami mga ganyan, kaya may ganyan, pampalito yan. So, ikaw, huwag kang malito, gamitin mo siya. Write off. So, minus 35. Merchandise returns. Okay, merong return. So, sales returns yan. So, less 25. Allowance for shipping damages. Ito sa customers kasi. Okay, so yan is ibabawas mo. Ang tawag dyan is yun yung sales return, di ba? Allowance for returns. Then, courier and carrier claim, no. Collection on subscription. O, madali lang pala. Okay, sabayan mo ako kung may calculator ka. So, 560 M plus, 5250 M plus, and then 10 M plus. Okay, sabayan mo lang ako, M plus minus lang tayo. 5200 M minus, then 35 M plus, 25 M plus, 15 M plus. Okay, sige, tingnan natin nga kung kaya nating i-memory recall yan. Okay, kung ano ang makukuha natin dyan. Anong makukuha mo? Nakuha mo? Ang dapat makuha is 595, letter D. Okay? Madali, di ba? Okay, next. On January 1, 2019, okay, kunin muna ulit natin, net realizable value. Pagka net realizable value, anong kailangan gawin? I-calculate ang accounts receivable at ang ADA. It's ibabawas para makuha ang net realizable value. Okay? Now, the statement of financial position of Square Company showed accounts receivable for 50,000. Then you have an allowance for doubtful accounts, 9,000. Now, sales on account. Okay, kasama yan. Okay, sige. So, gawin na natin. AR beginning balance will be, AR muna i-calculate natin. Meron ka ng 450. Magkano raw ang sales on account? Ito, kasama yan. 4,800,000. Okay. Kailangan malaman, may collections, 3,920. After discounts, 80,000 were allowed. Okay, so nabawas nyo na yung discount. So tama lang. So less mo to. 3,920. Okay, sorry. 3,920 less. Okay, kasi nakolekta mo na yan. Then, okay, nakolekta ito. After discounts, 80,000 were allowed for prompt payment. Okay, allowed daw. Malamang meron pang, kailangan mo palang ibawas pa yung 80 na yon. Sorry. Allowed for prompt payment. Okay, so ibig sabihin, sa total sales mo, nakakolekta ka ng 3,920 pagkatapos meron kang discount pala. Okay, so kailangan ibawas mo ulit yung 80. Eto collection, eto naging discount mo. Sorry naman. Okay, bad accounts previously written off, may impact ba yan? Okay, magkano yan? 5,000 were recovered. So, naka-recover daw ng 5,000. Okay, basahin pa natin. The entity decided to provide 26,000 for doubtful account. Okay, so at the end of the year. Okay, well, mamaya natin yung provision na yan eh. So, ibig sabihin sa allowance for doubtful accounts na yan, papasok. Pati yung 5,000 na yon, allowance for doubtful accounts din. Eh, accounts receivable pa lang yung kinakalculate natin. Mamaya yung ADA. Okay? Accounts receivable of 700,000 have been pledged to a local bank loan of 400,000. Okay. Collections of 150. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, may 150 not included in the previously given. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, magbabawas ka dito ng 150. Okay. 150 lang. Yung 700,000, kasama na yan dun sa total accounts receivable mo. Kaya ang kukunin lang natin, 150. Now, let's calculate muna yung accounts receivable. So, 450 plus 4,800 less yung collection 3,920 less yung na-discount 80 less yung naka-pledge 150. So, ang makukuha mo dito accounts receivable is 1,100. Okay. Now, yung allowance for doubtful accounts, paano mo ika-calculate? Ano yung makaka-affect? Merong binigay. Allowance for doubtful accounts beginning. So, beginning balance 9,000. Ano pa? Meron na kasing sinabi dito, provision. Nagbigay na ng provision. So, ibig sabihin, meron kang naging provision na 26,000 at the end of the year. Okay, so 26,000. Then, merong recovery na nangyari. Okay? So, 26 plus 9 plus recovery na 5,000. Ito yon, recovery na 5,000. So, plus 5. So, 5 plus 9 plus 26, ang makukuha mo is 40. So, ibig sabihin, ito, 100 less yung 40, ang makukuha mo is 1,060. Okay, so yan yung net realizable value ng accounts receivable mo. Binawas mo yung accounts receivable, binawas mo yung allowance for doubtful accounts sa ending balance ni accounts receivable. So yan yung ipipresent mo sa statement of financial position or the balance sheet. So ang nakuha natin is 1,060,000. Answer letter A. Okay, mahirap madali. Madali lang mga kapatid. Okay? So talon muna tayo ha. Kasi receivable, same problem na lang din. Okay, yan yung mga same question. So, para meron akong baka may makita akong iba. Yung impairment loss, allowance for sales, okay, wag yan. Allowance method. Dito tayo sa allowance method kasi ito mapapakinabangan. Rowan Company used allowance method of accounting for uncollectible accounts. The entity had charged 800,000 to bad debt expense and wrote off accounts receivable 900 as uncollectible. What was the decrease in working capital? Ano ba yung makakaapekto sa working capital? Okay? Ang makakaapekto actually sa working capital would be kasi pagka yung wrote off mo ng accounts receivable, di ba, no effect yan. Para nag-offset ka lang. So, ang makakaapekto lang sa working capital mo is etong bad debt expense. Okay? Na 800,000. Yan yon. Magdi-decrease ang working capital mo. So, letter C. Next, number 10. Milk Company's allowance for doubtful accounts was 1 million at the end of 2020 and 900,000 at the end of 2019. Okay, so for the year ended December 31, 2020, the entity reported doubtful accounts expense of 160 in the income statement. What amount was debited to the appropriate account to write off uncollectible accounts in 2020? Okay, so ibig sabihin, kwanto mag-i-squeeze ka dito. Okay, so, di ba? Okay, sige, gawin natin. Allowance for doubtful accounts, may squeeze yan eh. Squeeze. Okay, at the end of 2019, so ito yung beginning. So, beginning balance mo will be 900, tama? So, ngayon, pagkatapos, on that year, meron kang doubtful accounts expense dito, 160. 160 plus 900. Okay, so that means meron ka ditong 1,060 na total. Okay, then, ngayon, magkano ang allowance for doubtful accounts at the end of the year? At the end of 2020, 1 million. Diba? So, yun na pala yun. 1 million. So, yung difference is yun yung magiging debit mo sa write-off. So, 1 million less 1,060,000. So, that is 60. Okay? So, the answer will be A. Okay? Madali lang, di ba? Okay. Last, napagod na ako. Okay, last mga kapatid. Ito madali lang to. Mukha lang siya mahirap din. Okay? Tingnan mo, ang tanong dito, what amount should be recognized as doubtful accounts expense? Okay, doubtful accounts expense ang tinatanong. Okay, dito kasi, paano makukuha ang doubtful accounts expense? Sa allowance for doubtful accounts, di ba? Paano makukuha yung allowance for doubtful accounts? Given yung accounts receivable and net realizable value. So, yun yung allowance for doubtful accounts mo. So, in 2020, yung difference 5,250 at saka yung 5,100. So, mayroong 150 difference. So, ibig sabihin, etong allowance for doubtful accounts mo at the end of 2020. In 2019 naman, 48 less 4,725, 75 naman yung difference. Diba? Ngayon, ano yung mga nakaka-apekto dyan? Okay? So, ibig sabihin pala, ito beginning balance mo. So, ibig sabihin, ang beginning balance mo is 75,000, di ba? So, meron kang beginning balance 75. Okay, ngayon, sa 75 na yan, ano yung mga naka-apekto? merong wrote off totailing 160. Ito, ima-minus mo to actually. Pagkatapos itong collected mo, 40 sa accounts written off. So, i-add mo yan. So, 75, 40. Okay? Pagkatapos yung 195, magkano yun? 75 plus 40. So, 75 plus 40. Ang makukuha mo is 115 dito. Okay? Di ba? 115. Okay. Dito naman, ang sabi dito, okay. Actually, mas madali yata kung iti-T account natin. Iti account na lang natin. Okay? So, ngayon, ang mangyayari is, meron kang beginning 75. Okay? Ang ending is, magkano? 150. 150. Wrote off mo dito is 160. Na-recover mo dito is 40. Doubtful accounts expense ang makukuha. So, yung missing dito. So, ang gagawin mo, 150 plus 160. Ganun din naman dito. 75, 40. So, ang nakuha mo dito is 115, di ba? Dito is 115. So, ito i-add mo 160 plus 150. Ang makukuha ko dyan, 160 plus 150 is 310. So, ganun din pala naman. Tini-account ko lang. Okay, 310 less 115. So, 310 less 115, 195. So, 195 is your doubtful accounts expense. So, letter dog. Okay, ito pati account. Ito naman pa formula, 115. Ito dito, allowance for doubtful accounts mo 20, 150 plus 160. So, that is 310. Okay. So, 310, in-squeeze mo. 310 less 115. Makukuha mo din. Same lang. 195. Okay. So, whether kahit anong method yan, kung saan ka mas mabilis. Okay. So, madali lang, di ba? Madali lang ang accounts receivable. Okay. So, I hope meron kayong natutunan sa akin. Okay. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay. If you enjoyed it, can you just comment CPA Dreams? And then, I-try ko na mag-answer ng multiple choice questions inventory. Okay? O